Hey guys, so just the other day I brought in a few new 1x700 scale Forces of Valor warships, and since it's been a while since I posted a video, I thought I'd show them off. Now, normally I like to go into detail about each model, but today I think I'm going to keep it a little simple, and if somebody wants me to go and post up a detailed review of an individual ship, I'll be more than happy to do that. But for now, the first thing I want to do is I want to show off the difference in size of each of these ships, because it's really pretty incredible to me. I mean, here you have the Enterprise aircraft carrier, which is just huge. Then you have the small little Arizona battleship. Then you have the two Yamatos, and then you have the Ark Royal with a comparatively like toothpick-sized flight deck. And I think it's just really a treat to be able to sit here and look at these scale models, because it really helps hammer home the differences in size of these ships, and it just puts everything into perspective. Because it's one thing to read it on like Wikipedia or to just look at facts on a page, but it's a whole other thing to kind of see it in front of you. So with that said, I want to start off by looking at the HMS Ark Royal, which was a very famous British aircraft carrier. Now, this carrier was made in the 1930s and was famous for playing a number of roles in World War II for the Royal Navy. Its most famous mission may have actually been taking part of the sinking of the Bismarck, where its Swordfish aircraft scored some pretty crippling blows on the vessel and pretty much doomed the Bismarck to its fate. Now, the model itself, I think, looks fantastic. I think Unimax did a great job detailing everything, getting the paint application just right. I actually had a plastic model of this when I was a kid, and this definitely turned out way better than my model did. Have our rudders over here. And some of you are going to notice that the flight deck is stupidly thin, to the point where you think that Forces of or Unimax may have made a mistake here, but no, it really was incredibly thin. I mean, you have to bear in mind this is one of the first generation of aircraft carriers, and this the flight deck was only about 98 feet, I think, in width. So I kind of feel sorry for the pilots. They didn't really have a big target to land on. But nonetheless, it's kind of a shame this ship was sunk by a single torpedo, and I believe the captain of that ship was later court-martialed because there was really no order given to deal with the damage, and the ship sunk as a result. But yeah, this ship right here is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to put it to the side. Now, before I move on to the next, I want to show off what you also get with the aircraft carrier, which is its aircraft. So you have the Swordfish and the okay, I kind of forgot the name of the other plane. Oh, that's not good. Anyways, you'll notice I have these still in their container, mostly because I don't want to take them out. I know I'm going to lose them, and I just don't want to do that. So for now, they have to stay captive in their little plastic case. All right, next up, we have the Yamato. Now, I've already had the Yamato, this one right here, for quite a while. She's a great looking ship, and this is the paint scheme that I think most of us are used to seeing with the Yamato. And when I saw Unimax release the new Yamato with the new paint scheme, even though I've never seen it before anywhere except for on this model, I knew I just had to have it because something fell off. Oh, magnet. Alright, so I'll leave that in there. I'm not going to edit that out. Anyways, this ship, in my opinion, just looks absolutely mean. Just positively mean. There's just something about that gray paint with the yellow accents on the guns that just make this ship look even more serious than it already does. I mean, just... whew. So normally I'm not the kind of person to collect multiples of different things just because of changes in paint schemes and whatnot, but for the Yamato I had to make an exception. And there's no real differences between this ship and the previous generation, other than the fact that this canopy right here is painted. And I noticed the original does not have a painted canopy, but otherwise is the same thing. And this ship turned out great. I could see no glaring issues with workmanship. And it's just an overall fantastic model. And as I think I mentioned before in the other review, the Yamato was also sunk, albeit by far more than just a single torpedo like the Ark Royal. And here we have the Arizona, which sadly enough is famous for being sunk at Pearl Harbor in 1941. The Arizona was a very old school battleship. It was made in the late 19 teens. I forgot the exact year she was commissioned, but she features, each turret, I should say, features 3 14-inch guns. So she actually had pretty decent armament. And one thing I love about these older battleships is the fact that they had so much power for such a small size. I mean, again, this is only about a 600 and so foot ship. So there was a lot of power in it. But by the time World War I started, or World War I, by the time World War II started, the ship was mostly obsolete. It was slow, didn't have much in the way of anti-aircraft weaponry. It was just an old ship. But still, I think Unimax did a great job with this model. The turrets can move, the guns move up and down, just like all the other battleships. And the little 5-inch guns here, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick up on it, but they can also move and be adjusted, which is really cool. The only complaint I have about this ship is workmanship. If we look at it head on, yeah, that's right, the tower's leaning over a bit, and that's not too cool. Also, if you look at it from this angle, you can see that this isn't really installed that straight. Not a big deal, that's easy to correct. The tower lean, not so much. That's kind of disappointing, but, you know, I'm not going to be too picky about it. Otherwise, this is a really cool ship. And to give things some perspective, let's get the Yamato right here. Alright, so the biggest battleship ever made, next to the standard battleship going up until, or leading up until about the mid-30s, early 40s. There's a pretty big difference between the two. And I think this hammers home just how monstrous the Yamato really was, because this ship was designed to take on multiples of these. And quite frankly, I think it could have done it. So, and that leaves room for the last ship here. And that's going to be, might have to even move the camera down here a little bit. Let's see. It's going to be the CV-66 Enterprise, the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. And this thing is huge. It's so huge, I can't really even get it all. Oh, what? Maybe my arms are too short. Alright, we can kind of sort of get it all on frame. Yeah, there we go. Kind of. Mostly. This is a really, really cool ship, and I picked it up at a pretty good price. You know, at first I wasn't too excited to have this. I'm more of a battleship fan, even though my father's in the Navy and served aboard many aircraft carriers during his tenure in the Navy. Yeah, I just wasn't that excited about it, but now that I got it home and I have it out of box, I'm super, super happy to have this added to the collection. And it looks great. I was really nervous. I was expecting all kinds of workmanship issues, especially with the tower here. And I'm very relieved to see no real issues at all. I mean, everything looks fantastic. And honestly, I pretty much couldn't be happier with this ship. It looks absolutely amazing. And sadly, the Enterprise is no longer in active service. In fact, is being scrapped as we speak. And that's kind of a sad end, but an understandable end, because it would cost way too much to preserve this ship, whether it has a museum or whatever the case may be. So, now along with the Enterprise, you get a couple things. This is going to be the famous EMC squared. ratio that actually they're supposed to be represent individual crew members. There are a few famous photographs to where the crew would line up and formulate this right here. So it's kind of cool, a nice touch that they added this. And then you get a bunch of aircraft. So here you'll see F-14s and the Vikings and the Hawkeyes and the yeah. Kind of ran out of things here. But anyways, I think the aircraft actually looks surprisingly good as well. Overall, I think Unimax just really outdid themselves with the Enterprise. It's a pretty expensive ship. Like I said, I got it on sale for 77 or 75 bucks plus shipping. So I kind of lucked out. Normal price on it, I think, is around 100 bucks. I will say this, if you're into any of these ships, you might want to not wait anymore to get them, just because I believe Unimax / Forces of Valor is done, not only with this series, but I heard that they're done with die-cast stuff, period. So this is probably the very last that we'll see. So once they are already off the market, you're probably going to have to pay a very hefty price from third-party sellers to get any of these ships. So there's one more I want to get, and that's going to be the reissue of the Missouri, since the one I have is in the Atlantic colors, and it kind of looks weird to me. So I'll be ordering that ship, and that'll pretty much conclude my collection. So unless they come out with new stuff or whatever the case may be, that'll be it. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching, and I look forward to posting up another video soon. Thanks. Bye.